AI can build this better than you? Today, we're going to put it to the test. If you're new here, hi, my name's Zoe. I'm a software engineer and former university professor who loves teaching folks how to code. If you're interested in learning how to code and starting a career in front-end development, check out that first link in the description below. AI tools are getting better and better every day. In this series, I'm going to be testing their limits by building some complex web apps, then critiquing their choices and eventually adjusting the code to make it work more optimally. Last week, I used Claude to attempt to build a simple to-do app, but it had some issues with limitations. So let's look at how ChatGPT handles the exact same prompt. All right, so this is a really simple prompt, the exact same prompt that I gave Claude last week. Let's see what ChatGPT does with it. So again, it's build me a web app using Next.js, Material UI, TypeScript. Make the designs beautiful, allow the to-dos persist in local or session storage, and ensure that everything is responsive for all devices from mobile devices to large screens. Let's see what it spits out. All right, so it's thinking, failed to generate. You'll need to log in. I can generate full. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in and we'll try that. Let me go ahead and log in. All right, so now that we're all logged in, let's go ahead and try this prompt. So I'm gonna paste that in there and hit enter. Okay, so it's starting to think about what it can do. Again, this is the free plan, same that we were using with Claude. So we're having an equal comparison between the two. And it's spending a good amount of time thinking, but again, so did Claude. And let's see what it's able to spit out. Okay, Next.js, Material UI, TypeScript to do, single file, or adapt this. Okay, so it's kind of giving me some instructions here on the top in terms of the comments that we see. And then it's using React. Okay, so it's actually important Next, which is pretty cool because, again, remember with Claude, we had that limitation where it wasn't able to use Next.js. So this is pretty cool. And it's using Material UI, which is awesome because, again, if this was something that we were integrating into an existing project, we'd want it to actually use the technology that we were using in the rest of the project. It has some storage keys. Okay, so it's even working with our local session storage. That's pretty nice. Has a component. Now it is on one page, but let's see how long it is. Uses the effect for the session, add to-dos. Similar structure, right? Like it has the different actions, add, toggle, remove, whatever. And then it returns it, again, using Material UI, structure and syntax, which again, really awesome that it actually followed the instructions fully. And a much shorter response, which actually for me as a developer, I actually prefer because then it means that, you know, it's not sort of a lot of bloat code, it's just what we need. So it says done. I created Next.js, Material UI, TypeScript to do app in a canvas style. Next.js includes beautiful responsive UI, local storage and storage, session storage, persistence, add, edit, complete, and delete. So it also kind of did that. It added a little bit more than it needed to, but it didn't do sort of to the next level, right? Like with Claude, it was adding, I think it was categories and stuff like that. Like it was just another level of extra stuff. And then Claude actually didn't finish the prompt because, again, on the free plan, we ran out of minutes, but also because it had to retry twice. So the fact that chat got it on the first time is good, and it like actually completed the task is good. Okay, so it tells us how to run it locally, install Material UI, copy the code, and run npm dev. Okay, so let's see. So we can run it locally if we want, but let's see if it'll allow us to preview it because it did make a sign in so that we could see it on the canvas. So let's see how that works. Okay, so it's going ahead and installing the packages. And how long did that response take? Like 30 seconds, a minute? So it didn't take a crazy amount of time, right? Like we're not still here waiting for it to come up with the idea. You know, obviously the like spinning up bit, it does take a separate amount of time, but the fact that it actually was able to give us something pretty quickly is really the advantage of these like AI tools, right? The fact that I don't have to sit here and spend what might take, I don't know, at least half an hour to an hour at the bare minimum, depending on, you know, the complexity of the app. The fact that I don't have to spend all that time doing that is definitely an advantage of this application. Which is pretty cool. In terms of like, does this replace a developer? I think in some ways it can, right? Of course, because if I'm saying it would cost an hour of developer time to build this, you know, and you're not even paying anything because this is the free version of ChatGPT and you're having it build it, yeah, definitely worth it in that sense. And if you can get it to a level where it's actually, again, correctly responding to your prompts, giving you exactly what you want, maybe you pay, I mean, I think the regular plan is like $20 a month, and the pro plan, or the pro plan or whatever, like the first paid level, right, is like $20 a month, and then after that, you know, you can get enterprise or whatever, but you're definitely going to be paying a developer more than $20 a month. You're probably going to pay pay them $20 an hour at least to spin up something like this. So financially, I think it could definitely be a good move. So not trying to write myself out of a job here, but it is interesting to see how strong and how powerful this technology can be when it works. Right now we seem to be having an issue with it actually working though. So let's see how that goes. All right, if this isn't gonna work, let's see if we can actually just create this locally. So let's follow the instructions, because it did give us very detailed instructions. So let's see if we can make this work. So I'm gonna open up a terminal window and it'll pop over here. Let's try this. We'll say, I'll call it ChatGPT to do. Yes, lint. Do not want to use tills. Yes, yes, no. All right, so it's spinning it up. And in the meanwhile, we can keep check back in. Okay, so it did fail. It failed to build. Failed to fetch. Let's see. Preview again. See if it just needed. Because I mean, we did give Claude a retry, so let's give this a retry as well, just to be equal. But this does seem to be a recurring problem with these AI tools. They're not actually able to get it to the end of the project. All right, and again, I will give ChatGPT credit. It did give us another option, so let's see if we can actually spin this up. All right, so let's try and spin this up locally. I'm gonna say File, Open Folder. All right, so we've got our app imported into VS Code here. Let's just go ahead and see what we can actually do. And let me see if I can resize this. Okay, there we go. So it gave us, and it failed the second time. All right, so we're not gonna try again with chat. Let's just see if we can spin it up for ourselves, because it did give us instructions. So let's install. We're just gonna follow line by line what it told us, right? If it misses a step or whatever, we're gonna, again, this is a test of ChatGPT. So it's gonna spit that out, and then it says copy and paste the canvas code into source pages index or adapt for. All right, so I'm just gonna again follow. Oh, it says or adapt for the app router at page.tx. Okay. Oh, so it maybe wanted us to use the pages. All right, so let's just see if this works. If I just drop it into the page, I might have to make it. Yeah, I need to use client, which is fine. Would have, I don't know if I missed it where it said I should use pages instead of client, but it is interesting that it's using like an older style here. And so we're getting some errors here. I do wonder if, because these are errors with UI now, not with Next.js. It is interesting that maybe it's using an older type, an older like version of everything. Property component is missing in the type. Interesting. Okay, so we are getting errors here, which are basically going to prevent us from spinning it up. And again, this is something I've seen with Claude. This is something I've seen with other, AI code attempts to be a sort of AI code editor. All right, so yeah. We're just gonna have, again, and I want to make a fair comparison between the two, because yeah, we could use ChatGPT to try and figure out what the issue is, but I think we're already over our time of giving it a couple of minutes to figure out what's going on here. So at the end of the day, neither of them were able to spin off a to-do app. So it's quite interesting to see, and again, would it have been able to do it? Yeah, I've definitely been able to spin up to-do apps and other things with at least Claude. I haven't been able to spin it up with ChatGPT yet. So actually this is a very interesting turn of events in that sense. But if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe down below. And if you want to see that attempt with Claude, click here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.